Hi Leo, welcome to Higher Source Tarot for your June 2020 tarot check for all Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. And I just want to thank all of you for watching these readings. It really raises my vibration to do them for you and helps me to stay very in touch with my own source energy here, with source energy. So thanks for that. Thanks too for subscribing, liking, commenting, and sharing these videos. And if you're new, I'd love to have you as a subscriber. If you tap the bell, you'll be notified when new videos are posted, but it's generally about every week. So I do a monthly, a mid-month, I do weekly tarot readings, and then I also have posted a love reading on the first Friday of every month. So that'll be coming up again soon. If this doesn't resonate with you, don't try to fit yourself into the reading. Just check a different part of your chart, and you may find a reading that resonates more closely with your own current situation. But here we go. This is for Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Here we go for Leo. Your current situation, you've got the Hierophant here, and it's crossed, or the immediate influence is the Eight of Cups. Your destiny here is the Two of Wands. In the distant past, you've got the Four of Swords. The more recent past, you've got the Three of Cups. In the upcoming future, immediate future, you've got the Five of Cups, but you're represented here by the Ace of Cups. The people around you are the Seven of Cups, or the person around you. Your hopes here is strength. The outcome is the Lovers, and then the bottom of the deck, you've got the Three of Wands here. So I definitely like that. That for Leo, you have quite a few major arcana here. You certainly have water. It's a very watery, emotional reading today for you guys. So I definitely feel love in the reading there. So it could be Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio you're dealing with. You've got fire too, I mentioned. So Leo, Aries, and Sagittarius. You've got Gemini here. You also have too Taurus, and you have not a lot of Earth though. I don't see a lot of Earth here. Just you do have some air too, but your current situation here with the Hierophant and the Eight of Cups, this is an interesting combination because the Hierophant is the counterpart to the High Priestess, and the Hierophant governs over spirituality. So, and it's what I'm getting here is you're ascending spiritually, you're ascending to a higher level. Some of you may have had an imbalance in power in a relationship, and the universe had to balance that out, had to evacuate whatever was going on there that was leaving you feeling imbalanced. The Hierophant tells you to be still and know. The Hierophant holds his hand up to the Fool and just tells the Fool to kind of chill out a little bit. It's a 5, so it's a change, but it's definitely a very strong mind, body, spirit connection. So for those of you, if you've been doing yoga and things, that's a great practice. You may be dealing with somebody too who is into the practice of yoga or meditation, or even doing things like going to Buddhist temples. They're not necessarily Buddhist, but they're going for a lot of local temples will offer meditation hours to the public. It feels like that, where this person is trying to figure out who they are. I feel like they're still really seeking and still trying to figure out what the purpose of their life is. What is the purpose of this journey? So, and of course the purpose is to ascend, right? We're not put here to suffer. There's always pain in life, but suffering is optional. So I definitely feel like there is love here, but I feel like there's like this feeling of needing to give one another autonomy, some ability to be flexible, to allow each other to grow in our own directions and not just become one, so that we stop our own individual unique journeys in life. So that's kind of right off the bat. There's definitely, like I said, there's definitely love here. Some of you, it could be somebody that's been kind of on again, off again. I definitely feel like there's a part of this that tells me somebody's covering up some things. They're fearful about something that they don't want to address. And I don't know if that could be money related too, where they've got a fear around money or some kind of a very limited belief that was installed in them a long time ago that they're not even fully able to articulate. That's what I'm getting. Your destiny here, though, is this Two of Wands, which is great for a Leo. It's great for a couple of reasons. You know, one is you're holding the world in your hands. You've got the world at your fingertips here. It is about looking at different choices, but it's also about taking action. So if you've had something that's been stagnant, it won't be for long. You know, Leo's very loyal. It's out of the fire signs, the most likely to be able to be in a long-term stable commitment. Doesn't mean the other ones can't, but you have the most loyalty in love, the most fidelity in love. You are, you know, I think I've mentioned this before, you're that hearth that burns and keeps the house warm for the winter. You're a continuous flame. You don't get fiery and then quit on people. So I do feel like overall you have a long-term stable relationship here. You know, as far as money and work and things are concerned, I definitely think that there's going to be stability. I don't feel any huge changes coming in that direction. For some of you, you may be getting back to work and feeling more normalized, I guess, and just feeling more secure in general. But again, you have this Two of Wands here, and while I do feel like you're waiting, possibly you're trying to figure out a path to take, you have everything you need. You know, you really do. You're standing kind of at the precipice, I guess, and like I said, you've got the world in your fingertips here. In the distant past, some of you may have kind of, like I said, taken a break. You may have been estranged from somebody where there was no communication at all. The relationship ended, and you may have even gone to a therapist after this ending to kind of figure out what are these patterns, what is going on here, how did this get to this point, or maybe the other person too, if they left in kind of a fiery way and almost erratic, it feels like, where that was like very sudden and abrupt and they needed to go. And for somebody here, they might have even tried medication where it just like they felt almost completely out of control. And it really, to me, it feels more like a spiritual crisis than a psychological one. But I think that's, you know, and I've mentioned this before, I'm a fully licensed clinician. I don't do this channel to give clinical advice. It's really, you know, for entertainment purposes and to get, it's divination, right? I take it seriously, but I will say this, it feels a lot of times in life like I see people who are really having a spiritual crisis and not so much of a psychological one, and it gets treated for a while and then they move on, and some of them keep doing it because they're not treating the right problem. So in the more recent past, you've got this Three of Cups, so I definitely think that this person has been trying to come back around. I think that they are in a much better place than they were. There's definitely been some distance though. I can feel that, but it's like this endeavor of the heart here keeps trying to come back and wants to change directions, is what I feel like. There's like this, I definitely think you're going to have a new opportunity here, but some things are going to need to be different. Now, this Five of Cups here is, you know, certainly it's a card about sadness. This is also a change, okay, with a five. You've always got a change here. Some element of this I do think has been disappointing. It was kind of like, you know, did it need to get to that point? Could it have sustained without all of this drama and, you know, just kind of this overwhelming dramatic ending that maybe didn't need to occur that way? I think there's regret, I guess. I think that there's regret for that. I also think too, this person may have some regret in terms of leaving the situation the way that they did. Now, some of you have new love coming in. I will tell you that too. I think there's two different things going on here. For some of you, it's new. You're represented here by the Ace of Cups. For some of you, it's a second chance at something and a new beginning, but some it's a new beginning overall. And let me just look at this for a second because I want to get that clear. second chance came in a little bit stronger. And so I was getting a better picture of that. But when I look at this too, I almost feel like whoever you're dealing with is in some kind of sales. It's like this new person who's coming in, they're in sales, maybe even car sales, where they're kind of running around from thing to thing to thing. They're a very high energy person. They're very fun. They work some late hours though. I will say that, where they work evenings at times, but it's like very inconsistent. So this person, this new person, you may meet them very randomly. And the other thing I'm getting, some of you may get kind of introduced, like you meet them and you know people that are in common. So you don't necessarily get introduced like, I got to set you up, but it's like you have some common things, some common people and things. There's a connection. There's a connection with somebody here. So with this Ace of Cups, there's an emotional intensity and there's a love here. It definitely some kind of a new, again, it's new and exciting, but it's unconditional. There's abundance. I do think if you get back together with somebody, it's going to be much more stable and it will be long term. I think it could potentially turn into a marriage, as long as this person has engaged in some kind of spiritual practice or some kind of grounding, even I'm getting for them, just to get them more stable. It could certainly be a long term, like a marriage. But you got a soulmate coming in here. So for those of you that this is new, where you're saying there's no way I would take that person back, absolutely none, then for you it's very likely new love. But you have a long-term commitment coming through here. Like I said before, you've got the Seven of Cups representing this person. Now for some of you, the person from the past may be somewhat disillusioned. They're thinking things and fantasizing about things that are probably not going to happen. And again, that for the people that have new love coming in, I'm getting that. But I also think, like I said, for the new love, you've got somebody who's like very busy and they're engaged in something where they're like juggling a lot of clients or customers or, and so they're just, sometimes I think they're kind of visualizing, they're trying to like strategize a lot in terms of work. And so I just get that for them, that's just kind of their overall energy. But there's definitely here with your hopes here, kind of this idea of taming a lion. Okay. So for those of you that have somebody from the past who's been unstable, there's a part of you that really sees the good in them and wants that stability, wants to tame that part of them. But there's some hidden fear with this card too. There's hidden feelings, there's hidden fears here. And, and it's going to require just getting honest, really getting honest about the situation. And, it's an 8, and in the tarot, that's about movement. Now, she's very gentle, and she's got a lot of authority right over that lion. This is also, too, about infinite abundance. So overall, I feel like the relationship is going to be very steady, whether it's new or somebody that has had to work on themselves quite a bit, because in the outcome, so you've got this Lover's card, which is, it can also be about a choice, but it's, they're standing in front of the Garden of Eden here, and they're a soulmate connection. They're supposed to be together. They are bound by destiny. And with the Three of Wands here, this is about progress. It's about moving forward. And it's also, too, about, kind of taking a survey. It's about moving forward, but he is still hanging on to one wand, and that can be kind of like it's not too late to turn around. But I do think in this case, it's time to close the door on the past. It's okay to look back, but don't get caught staring, because sometimes what can happen is we start to live there and then we just re-engage in the very same thing that we had before, whether it's with a new person or the other person. But either way, you've definitely got a soulmate coming in. Could be a Gemini, but it also could be a fire sign too. And there's, like I said, there's real love here, and there's a real deep connection, there's depth to this. So you've got some deciding to do here. You really do. You're going to have a decision that you need to make. Now, I brought out this time these Carolyn Mace archetype cards because a lot of times people struggle with relationships because they don't really understand their patterns. The tarot is constructed of archetypes, okay? If you're not aware of that, all these cards are really, they're archetypes. And Carl Jung is an Austrian psychologist who's greatly influenced American and European psychology. Anyway, he taught and researched a lot about archetypes. So I just thought, let's try these archetype cards. They're really cool, and it's just an extra layer of guidance. So wow, this is interesting. You got the Thief. So the light attribute of the Thief card sheds light on potential wealth within you that can never be stolen. So the things about you internally that somebody can never take away from you. Now the shadow attribute is stealing money, creative ideas, affection, or other powers that you think you lack. So the guidance on that may be just to, be mindful of who you choose. Be mindful that this person enhances you and doesn't drain your energy. Because like I said before, if there was an energetic imbalance, the universe ushered the person away. Or maybe I didn't say that, but it's coming through now. The person may have been temporarily ushered away because your power was being drained. And that can't last. So we'll close things off with an Ask and It Is Given card. It's Abraham Hicks. I am becoming consciously aware of my inner being. We refer to that non-physical you as your inner being or your source. It is not important what you call that source of energy or life force, but it is important that you are consciously aware of when you are allowing a full connection to it and when you are restricting it in some way. And that's oftentimes why relationships end. We get cut off from our source, we don't feel right, and we blame the other person. But really, the key to a relationship is not with me and the other person, it's with me and me, and aligning myself with source energy. So I'll be interested to see what happens. I'm curious about this because I feel like there's a development happening here, and it's almost like reading a good book. I want to know, what you decide, because you do have a decision to make here. You're definitely going to have something here, and it could definitely be a life-changing course. So I love you so much, Leo, and I'll be back again shortly for a weekly reading.